Welcome to Process to Profitability, a podcast all about the tools and strategies you need to serve your clients and grow your small business, hosted by me, Samantha Mabe of Lemon and the Sea. Join me as I chat with creative entrepreneurs and small business owners about how they built and grew their businesses and how you can do the same in a way that fits you. Let's get started. You're listening to episode 159 of Process to Profitability. Today, I'm going to be talking about the behind the scenes of my website design VIP day. I've done a couple of these with clients, and so I am really excited to share with you not only what a VIP day is and how it works, but also some of the things that I've learned and answer some questions that I get as I talk about VIP days frequently. If you are interested in a VIP day, I have a couple of spots open for over the next few months. So send me a DM on Instagram, send me an email, or you can apply on my website. Otherwise, I hope you enjoy this episode, whether you have a VIP day yourself and you're looking to learn, or you're interested in website design and what that process might look like. Before we dive into my VIP day specifically, I wanted to talk about what a VIP day is. I consider a VIP day a one-day experience for a client where we are giving them a really big, important transformation. Some people do VIP days for coaching, Pinterest, Dubsado setup, all kinds of things. Any service that you provide, you can take and condense into one day, and that way you can get it done. Your client gets the final transformation at the end of the day, and it's off your plate, which is why I love VIP days. They're so beneficial for me because it gives me more time to spend with my family outside of that one day intensive, and it helps my clients get their websites launched really quickly. We can schedule the day, get all the work done, and launch their website the same day if they're ready. Who is a VIP day for? I specifically work with service providers and coaches who have DIY'd their websites, or they hired their sister's cousin's neighbor to design something when they started their business, and now they are ready to have a custom design that truly reflects the work that they're doing and the way that their brand looks and feels, and still allows them to grow and change in the future without being afraid to break something on their site. I have worked with people in all different industries, and VIP days work for all of them. So my most recent clients have been a realtor, an energy healer, an author, a Pinterest expert, all different industries. As long as they have a signature service that they're offering, can benefit from a VIP day website because it allows us to design a website specifically for them, for that service, and get it done. Now, you may be wondering, how in the world do you get a website done in one day? And I was wondering the same thing. When I first started my business and was designing my process, it started out as a 6-month process for large websites. And that would include every single page that somebody might need on their site. I realized that that was a huge investment of time and money and a long time for people to wait. And so I wanted to condense that down. I eventually ended up with 2 different services, one that was a 6-week website that would include up to 10 pages, and one that was a 3-week website that would be a 3-page site. I tried both of those out, and while I was able to give my clients really great designs that converted well for them, those projects still tended to drag on because we were always waiting for the back and forth emails for feedback. Things would come up in your life and we wouldn't get things launched on time. So when I had my son and we decided that I would cut back my work hours and really try to concentrate on client work, getting it done quickly, making sure that I had a consistent income, I found that VIP days were a great solution for that. And so I took all of that work that I had been doing, and specifically my 6-week process, and condensed it down into one day. Part of the way that I do this is that I limit the number of pages we design. We design 4 pages together, typically a home, about, services/sales page, a contact page, and then I set up a blog template and a policies page, those back-end things that somebody might need. I chose these 4 pages specifically because I knew that these would be the pages anyone would need on a website in order to bring people in, give them information, and convert them into paying clients. And they work really well for service providers because you're just talking about one offer instead of lots of products or all kinds of courses. If you've got one thing to concentrate, it's easy to build a website that focuses people in the right direction. The other way that I get this done in one day is by having my client and myself do quite a bit of pre-work. This starts when they inquire with me, we get on a sales call or a quick chat. It's not super salesy. What I'm really trying to do is communicate my process and figure out what kind of functionality that they need in a website to make sure a VIP day is a good fit, and to make sure I understand what we need and can make any tweaks to the process that need to happen. After they book the day, then they get some questionnaires. The first is a design questionnaire. I have my clients go through their existing website, if they have one, go through what they're looking for in a new website, share inspiration, all sorts of things that give me all the information that I need to design something that reflects their brand and really focuses on moving their potential clients from browsing to buying. There are also questionnaires for login information and content. So many of my clients decide to DIY the copy and imagery for their websites, which is fine. I have a workbook with detailed outlines, examples, resources for my clients to use if they so choose. Or if they do hire a copywriter, they can just submit the copywriter documents straight to me and I can review everything. Of course, my part of the pre-work is to review all the questionnaires and the content to make sure that I'm not missing anything, to clarify any questions that I might have. And usually I am doing some stock image searches just for some extra resources on the day of our project. Once we get into our actual VIP day, I always start with phase 1, prep. This is where I design a mood board for the website. Basically, they get a board that is a representation of the elements, fonts, colors that we're going to use on their site to make sure that it is aligned with what they were thinking. I put all of this along with their color palette and a detailed font list into a strategy document that they can then review and give feedback on if something just doesn't look quite right. Once we're ready to go with that strategy document, I dive into phase 2, propose. This is where my clients get a mock-up. So I go into Adobe XD and I mock up the homepage of their website. I design all of the elements, all of the sections, along with the actual fonts, colors, and images we're going to use so that they can see what their website will look like. The reason that I do only the homepage as a mock-up is because it's generally a really good representation of what we're going to be doing throughout the website. The homepage has lots of different elements that we can then repeat and reuse throughout the site so everything looks and feels consistent. And the homepage is the page most people are going to see first. It's the one that we've spent the most time on our headline. So it's nice to see all of that up front and ready before the project. And of course, my clients get to give me feedback here as well. So they take a look at that mock-up, give me any feedback that they have specifically about design elements, colors, fonts, images, anything they notice that's out of place. And then I take that and move on to phase 3. Phase 3 is produce. So I get into Squarespace where I design my websites. If my client has an existing Squarespace site, then I will put up a coming soon page and work on the back end. If they don't, then I will set one up for them and get all of the pages set up. I do this by having a really detailed template with all the sections that I might need that I can then copy over into the new Squarespace site and remove or edit things as needed, but I'm not having to build every single piece from scratch. Instead, I've got the basic building blocks in place and I can concentrate on getting the content in and doing the customizations so that their website truly does look like the mock-up they reviewed. This is where those 4 pages come into play. So I design those 4 pages as well as setting up a blog, a policies page, I get the header and footer done, all of those things. And then I jump into the mobile design, make a few tweaks there. I like to add some fun details to the mobile menu. And then I test everything and test and test and test. I make sure all the links work, all of the customizations work on different screen sizes. I make sure that nothing weird happens when you click a button so that when people actually come to the site, they get a great user experience no matter what device they're on. Once that's finished, I send it over to my clients so that they can just take a look, make sure that everything looks good, that there's nothing that stands out. The biggest feedback that I get here is to change out an image on one page or another, and that's usually a quick fix. Once that is approved and kind of while they are looking at their site, I'm doing phase 4, perfect. So this is where I'm making everything work in the back end. I get the newsletter connected, any scheduling software or CRMs get connected. I set up the SEO for the site, as well as setting up Google Analytics, Search Console, all those things that we need on our site that we don't necessarily think about because it's all of the back end details, not the pretty site up front. I also connect the domain for anybody who is ready to launch that day. So if somebody has a domain and they need it connected to their new site, I go ahead and do that. It populates within 3 days, but usually they are ready to go at the end of our day together. And once that's done, of course, I want to set them up for success in the future. So I go into phase 5, propel. I record tutorial videos specifically for their site. Any elements that are different from normal, anything they might need to keep in mind as they make edits, or anything they've specifically requested help with, I record a tutorial video for in Loom, and then I timestamp it so they can easily see what they're looking for. They also get access to a full library of tutorial videos about Squarespace that cover pretty much every element and block and page that they would need to think about. In addition to this, I have what's called a style page where I upload the backups for the website. I include the color palette, all the font choices, so they can see everything we've used on the site and have it as a resource in the future for themselves or their team or another designer. This way, they can feel confident making adjustments to their site themselves or handing it off to somebody else. They don't have to keep coming back to me to make little tweaks. I want my clients to be empowered to get into their site and try things out, because that's the only way we're going to know if something's really working. Of course, after a website's launched, it doesn't mean my work's over. All of my clients get 30 days of support afterwards where they can submit a form. I have it set up in Airtable that sends a request. So they can request any kind of edits to their site. They can request tutorial videos. They can ask questions. And usually I get back to them within 1 to 2 days. So if they need an image changed out or pricing updated in that 30 days, maybe they've decided to add or take away a section of the site, I get all of those requests in one place and I work on that for them so that as they continue to learn and use and play around with their site and see how people react, we can make changes to make sure that it is really converting and working for them. All right, so that's how my VIP days work. We go through those 5 phases. They have a support window, and all of this works because I have a process filled with different assets on the back end. I've got folders worth of fonts and pairings and checklists and images and everything that I might need, so that on the day of our VIP day, I can just go in there and get started. But here's what I have learned after the VIP days that I have done so far. First, a VIP day is different than a longer process because we're getting it all done at once. And that means I am sitting at the computer for a long day. I always like to start my day by grabbing some Starbucks coffee. I'm usually dropping my son off at his childcare for the day, so I get it on my way over. And I make sure that I am at my desk a few minutes before we're supposed to start so that I don't feel rushed at the very beginning. I also try to get up and walk and exercise throughout the day, keep water at my desk so that I am always hydrated, and I make sure I have some snacks that are healthy and filling and easy to grab on my days. I also have found that ordering lunch is really helpful, although one of my VIP days, the order delivery stopped working. So I like to order that either the day before and set it for a specific time, or the morning of, and I'll set that up so that I know when my food is going to be delivered, and it matches up with a window of a break that I've built into my VIP day. And of course, I am a wife and a mom, and I am the one who mostly cooks dinner in my house. So I also have to think about that. Usually VIP days mean that we have leftovers or a crock pot meal for dinner so that it's still healthy and filling, but I don't have to worry about it once I wrap up for the day. The next thing I've learned is all about clients' care and service. So I have learned over my VIP days a couple of things. First, lots of clients get worried before their VIP day that they haven't submitted everything that I need. So I have actually added in some check-in emails to my onboarding sequence that just remind them of what needs to be submitted. And I give them the option of jumping onto a quick 20-minute call where I can review their questionnaires really quickly. I can look at all the content they've submitted. And that way they know if anything's missing ahead of the final deadline. And I know where we're at too. And it usually helps me get a really good idea of what we'll be doing on the day of, how much time it's going to take. And that's been a great addition. The next thing that I have added is sending my clients some kind of food on the day of. So depending on where they're located, I'll either send a Starbucks gift card, a DoorDash gift card, or order food sent to their house. Even though we're not on a call the whole day, they do have to be available. And so I like to just give it to them as a nice bonus and something they don't have to worry about that day. The third thing I have learned is that when I ask for feedback from people, I need to be very specific about the types of feedback, give some examples so that they can give me the most helpful information possible. Instead of saying, I just don't like the way this looks, they can say, I like the color palette, but this button just does not resonate with my brand. And that's much more helpful for them and for me. I also give my clients the option of jumping on a call when they give feedback, because sometimes it's just easier for people to express it in words. I will say that the first time that I offered this and my client took me up on it, I was so nervous that they were going to tell me they hated the design and had a million things to change. But all she wanted to say was that she loved the design and needed 2 images changed out. So it's not as scary as you think to get feedback live, and it makes it much quicker and easier than waiting for somebody to send an email. Another fun thing that I have learned with VIP days is that you can use your email signature and your autoresponder as a great way to build trust with your clients and to do a little bit of marketing. So in the signature of my email, I have a note that just lets all of my clients know that there are some days that I won't be available and when I can get back to them afterwards. And then I have a list of those days. And what I do is go through and say, on this date, I have a VIP day for an amazing author. On this date, I have a VIP day for a Pinterest expert. It's a fun way for people to know what's going on in my business, to establish boundaries with clients. And my clients love seeing it when they have their VIP day pop up. So I just received an email that said, I saw your signature and it made me cry because I'm so excited about this VIP day and I see that I am on your schedule and I'm important to you. The other place that I include VIP days is when I have my autoresponder on. So every day that I have a VIP day, I set up an autoresponder. Basically lets people know that I will not be answering emails that day. But in there, I explain a little bit about what a VIP day is, what I'm doing, and I give them the ability to check it out if they're interested in doing one for themselves. It's a really simple way for me to let people know what's going on in my business, to build connection, and it is a little bit of free marketing. So that's how my VIP day works. Those are the things that I have learned, and I'm excited to keep learning. In fact, I have a checklist for every VIP day, and I have the items that have to be completed and places for notes and feedback, but I also have a column that asks for any backlog. So if I notice something is taking a really long time on a VIP day, I can take a note of that and look at it later to say, what could I do to speed this up? Maybe it's just a one-time thing. Maybe it's something that I could add to my process, or I need a new asset. And then at the end of the day, on that very same checklist document, I've got a place where I can write down what went well and what I could improve. And that way, I don't have to worry about it down the road when I'm trying to make changes and I can't remember. I write it all down the day of, and then I let it go. And that way I can walk away at the end of a VIP day after I send that wrap-up email to my clients, and we're both off the hook. We can be confident that their website is live, it looks good, it works, and then anything else can come at the beginning of the new week when they have requests or questions, or I'm making changes to my own process on the back end. If you have a DIY website, or maybe your cousin's neighbor's best friend designed it, and you're not sure if it's converting well, or maybe something just doesn't feel like it's working, I offer a free website review. So you can go to lemonandthesea.com/website review, enter your URL, your name, and give me an idea of your biggest struggle. And then I'll go and record a 10 to 15 minute video walking through your site with some suggestions, answering any questions that you have to make sure that your site, no matter where it is in your business journey, is converting as well as possible and really communicating the value of the amazing work that you're doing. Thanks for listening to Process to Profitability. Please take a minute to leave an honest review in iTunes so that I can help more small business owners and creative entrepreneurs find the show.